Now at 6 and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, Steve Scalise wins the nomination for House Speaker, and Michael Cloud will not vote in his favor.
Grant money may be given to ease the situation in Illinois after buses of migrants from Texas were sent, but that community gets heated.
And one school employee in Fort Worth area fatally shot in the school parking lot.
The cloud deck that was over us all day long, making it rather gloomy, is thinning out. You can see how it's all going to be thinned out tomorrow. A lot more sun, and for the weekend, lots of sun. We'll be talking about that coming up.
And a former Crossroads running back is dominating in the college world. That's coming up in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker.
And I'm Karina Garcia. The Warren County Grand Jury recently indicted 17-year-old Logan Kinson Allen of Odessa on counts of assault of a public servant and criminal mischief. Allen taken into custody July 13 in El Campo on 4 charges. He is in the Warren County Jail in lieu of a $51,000 bond.
A Fort Worth school district worker fatally shot in the parking lot of their elementary school this morning. It happened at David K. Sellers Elementary School in Forest Hill. Police have not released any information about the victim, a suspect, motive, or an arrest. The district referred to the victim as a beloved staff member. They assured the public there was no ongoing threat or danger to the school community. Additional counseling staff called in for students and educators. Refugio County Commissioners extended the burn ban there this morning. The burn ban now extended for 30 days. There are still drought conditions, they say, north of the Refugio U.S. Highway 77 corridor. The burn ban was put into effect in Refugio County June 27th.
And now let's take a look at your forecast with Chief Meteorologist Mac Bettis. Mac, keep the rain coming, I say.
It was a nice little drizzle that we got most of today. We got about a quarter of an inch of rain in most areas, but all that is thinning out. You can see on our satellite picture how things are just beginning to clear out. Tonight we'll see a few stars out there. Tomorrow a lot more sunshine, and then for the weekend really nice sunshine with cool north winds. We'll have more details on your forecast coming up, so stay tuned.
Mac, thank you. Republicans have nominated Steve Scalise to be the next House Speaker. Lawmakers said that in private balloting at the Capitol, House Republicans pushed aside Jim Jordan, the Judiciary Committee chairman, in favor of Scalise, the current majority leader. Republicans now will seek to assemble their narrow House majority around Scalise in what is certain to be a close vote of the full House. A floor vote of the whole House was canceled Wednesday afternoon.
U.S. Congressman District 27 Michael Cloud vowed to vote against Scalise to be the next House Speaker. Congressman Cloud told the Texas Tribune, quote, "While I respect Steve Scalise, the underhanded efforts to rush his vote to the floor without getting full buy-in from the conference is extremely ill-advised, and I will not be supporting the nomination on the floor," unquote.
The cost of the Ken Paxton impeachment trial, nearly $100,000 and counting. The Dallas Morning News reports the Texas Senate and Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick have spent more than $96,000 on the impeachment trial. Most of the Senate expenses were for court reporters during the trial. Patrick's office hired outside lawyers that charged nearly $57,000 to fight a suit challenging the trial rules. The House Board of Managers said they are still adding up their total costs.
Here's your viewer poll this evening. You can scan that QR code on your screen to vote. The question is, was the Ken Paxton impeachment trial worth the cost of nearly $100,000? Yes or no? According to these results, 34, or actually 35 just changed right now, say yes, and 65% say no. We want to hear your opinion. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part, and we're going to have an update on 25 News Now at 10. Now, a Texas Senate committee passed a bill that would ban private businesses from requiring employees to get COVID-19 vaccines. The Texas Tribune reports the bill is not supported by State Senator District 18 Lois Kolkhorst. Meanwhile, KXAN reports a state Senate committee considering legislation to create a new state-level misdemeanor for illegal immigration and increase criminal penalties for smugglers operating a stash house. DPS would then enforce this law. Since August of 2022, Texas has bused over 8,000 migrants to Chicago.
About an hour from Chicago is the community of Joliet Township. Residents there attended a meeting Tuesday night over an $8.6 million grant awarded to aid asylum seekers. But the vocal majority does not seem to fully support the move.
Neighbors at tonight's meeting not mincing words as they address their concerns over a multi-million-dollar grant awarded to Joliet Township.
I don't believe you're fixing a problem, you're creating one.
We need to take care of our own. We have issues here. We need to strengthen our foundation.
Earlier this month, Governor J.B. Pritzker's office awarded Joliet Township $8.6 million in funding for resources and help for asylum seekers.
The purpose of this grant was to help our community partners who serve individuals beyond the township, county, and city boundaries. This is a reactive request grant to address current issues. It was not intended to bring more people into our areas.
At a packed meeting, those supporting the township's efforts.
Let us not be divided, for we know then we will all lose.
Give them a chance to be a part of your community. You'll be surprised.
Vastly outnumbered by neighbors and city leaders who are concerned over the proposal to use the grant money if the township accepts the funds.
We cannot meet the needs of these people.
We have to first take care of our citizens here before we can go and take care of anybody else.
City council leaders, including Joliet's mayor, saying they were aware of the township's efforts to obtain the grant but did not provide input.
It's done without our knowledge, and we can't sustain the grant as it was written. So it's just not tenable.
The city has not yet accepted the grant money, and township leaders say they will consider all options, including public comments, as they decide to move forward.
Houston-based ExxonMobil agreed to buy another Texas-based company, Pioneer Natural Resources, in an all-stock deal valued at almost $60 billion. This makes Exxon the biggest producer in the largest U.S. oil field, the Permian Basin in West Texas. The deal combines the largest U.S. oil company with Irving-based Pioneer, one of the most successful names to emerge from the shale revolution. The merged company could add 700,000 barrels per day of oil and gas production within 4 years of the deal closing. You might have seen some gas stations in Victoria where prices have dropped under $3 a gallon. AAA Texas reports the average gas price per gallon in Victoria is $3.10 a gallon. That's 18 cents lower than it was a week ago and 16 cents lower than 1 month ago. AAA Texas reports the average gas price in Texas, $3.16 a gallon.
The De Leon Club of Victoria hosting a Hispanic recognition celebration tonight. It starts at 6:30 p.m. The 2023 honorees are Dr. Estela de los Santos, Cesar Ornelas, and Carla Ramos. This is taking place at the UHV Multi-Purpose Room in the North Building, 3007 North Ben Wilson Street. Here are some of the top headlines you can read in the Port Lavaca Wave. The Seadrift City Council approved funding to support the Combat Marines outdoor initiatives. The program has brought veterans to the city for 15 years for outdoor activities. Plus, the commercial heifer show and sale at the Calhoun County Fair will teach young people about the details of cattle production. You can read these stories and more at theportlavacawave.com.
Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell so you can see Crossroads Today on YouTube. And stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 6. In California, that state marks their first fentanyl murder sentencing.
Also ahead, a huge drug bust in Georgia leads to over a dozen gang member arrests. First, in the state of California, a fentanyl dealer convicted of murder has now been sentenced.
Now, the 22-year-old dealer guilty in the murder death of 15-year-old Jules Wolfe.
Court is now in session. The Honorable Angus St. Edmunds presiding.
History made in California.
These are the written words of Nathaniel Kapakungan. He says, "I apologize for my actions and the damage I have caused to everyone."
Inside court, Nathaniel Kapakungan sat quietly as family and friends of Jules Wolfe read their victim statements. Investigators say the 22-year-old sold pills to Wolfe before she died from fentanyl. She was 15. Outside Placer County Superior Court, a who's who across the state applauded the victory.
For those that come into our county and knowingly sell their poison, we will come after you.
The conviction and sentencing of Kapakungan, an intricate web involving prosecutors and police departments. However, the work far from over as state lawmakers renew calls for legislation to combat what some call a public health crisis.
We're united in that commitment to public safety.
I miss everything. I miss her smile. I miss her hugs, her encouragement, her laughter.
Wolfe's family say they know they've navigated the judicial system with success, but say this day is bittersweet.
I have to tell myself that no amount of time, no sentence is going to bring her back, but that her story is already making a huge impact.
As little as 2 milligrams of fentanyl, the amount that fits on a pencil tip, can be fatal depending on a person's body size and drug tolerance.
And the number of drug overdose deaths in the United States still increasing every month, but the pace appears to be slowing. The CDC projects that more than 112,000 people died from a drug overdose in the 12-month period ending in May. That's an increase of more than 2,700 from the previous year. Overdose deaths spiked 30% between 2019 and 2020 and rose another 15% between 2020 and 2021, the CDC reports. Authorities in Georgia arrested nearly 60 suspects and confiscated a large amount of drugs following a 2-year investigation in the Augusta area.
Operation No Loyalty was conducted in 2 phases, and the sheriff's office says the amount of fentanyl seized alone could kill millions of people.
Do you think that Augusta still has a gang problem?
Absolutely, we have a gang problem.
And law enforcement is trying to get a handle on it.
The amount of drugs itself is alarming, but what's more alarming is when you get a group of individuals that are operating together as an organization, that has a lot more of a dramatic impact on a community.
For Augusta, Chief Clayton says one of the big players is the Trap Money Gang.
These are guys that are involved in homicides, they're involved in aggravated assaults with guns, they're involved with other violent crime and other property crime like stealing guns and financial fraud.
Operation No Loyalty has led the Sheriff's Office, the GBI, FBI, and several other agencies to seize more than 35 pounds of cocaine, 15 pounds of fentanyl, a pound of meth, 277 pounds of weed, more than $400,000, and 62 guns. More than 50 are behind bars, but Clayton knows they don't have everyone.
We never ever get every member, but what I will tell you is that when you take out most of the organization, it has a crippling effect on the gang.
Clayton says Trap Money is a hybrid gang with national affiliation to the Bloods Gang, Inglewood Family Gang, Sex Money Murder Gang, and 59 Rim Bloods Gang, who prey on the poor.
If you've ever noticed, we have a lot of different housing projects, for example, and these are the people that drug dealers and gangs, they prey on the most.
So they're launching Phase 3 now to get to the root of the problem, which could lead to widespread arrests as far as Houston.
The message I would like to send to the people out there that are gangbangers, if you're going to continue, we are coming after you, and your number is going to come up. It's just a matter of time.
Along with the drugs and firearms, officials also took 2 houses and 9 vehicles.
It was an emotional reunion for some Tennessee families as their loved ones returned home from Israel. Members of Sunnyside Baptist Church in Kingsport arrived by bus early Wednesday morning. The group was able to take one of the last flights out of Tel Aviv before the airport closed Tuesday. They had been in Jerusalem, less than 100 miles away from the weekend terrorist attacks, and could hear the missiles as they were intercepted.
It was so good to see her again.
you know, you get to the point you're afraid you won't get to see them again, and then they show up. That's just wonderful.
Church members say they relied heavily on their faith and prayers from family and friends back home.
The average score students receive on the ACT college admission test reached a new 30-year low. It's now 19.5 out of 36. The organization that administers the test says that shows students are less ready for college than before. It also blames the fall to adjustments made to schooling during the pandemic. But ACT scores had been on the decline for 6 straight years, long before COVID-19.
Well, good evening, everybody. We had cloudy skies, some little drizzle out there, but right now it's 72. We only managed to get up to 74 today. That compares to an average of 86. And the rainfall was fairly light, 1,700s out at the airport. That brings our month of October to 2.27, and that brings our year since January 1st to 27.85. That's still almost 5 inches below normal rainfall. So we need more rainfall, but the light and steady one like today. We'll talk about when these skies will clear and what to expect for the next few days. All that coming up in just a moment. Well, good afternoon, everyone. The clouds are slowly thinning out, and by this evening, we'll see a few stars out there. No problems at all. The rain was nice. It was a little, remind you of winter, right? Remember, after the summer we've been through, it was nice to get a change. But you can see how skies are beginning to clear as all of the moisture coming up from the Pacific is now pulling away from our area and headed toward Florida. You can see in the green here, which puts us at about, excuse me, the half-inch range, up to about an inch. When we get to blue, that's when they get the heavier rain, over an inch. So everybody got fairly widespread, half an inch all over the area, from Houston all the way down to the South Texas. This is the last 12 hours. Obviously, yesterday they got more heavier rain out in Laredo. But let's take a look at Future Tracker. This is what's happening through Thursday morning, and then by Thursday afternoon, most of the cloud deck pulls away. In fact, tomorrow you should see the sun, and we'll have just a few clouds sort of lingering around the area. But we get to Friday night, right about here, you can almost see it. A little frontal system is coming through with a slight chance of a sprinkle or two, nothing severe. But by Friday, or by Saturday, it's going to blow through here and really clear things up and give us a gorgeous weekend. Because of the cloud deck and the humidity, we may have a little fog tomorrow morning. We're looking at lows about in the mid-60s, obviously drier and cooler out in western areas. High temperatures tomorrow, well, you're going to say, wait a minute, it was like winter yesterday and it'll be summer tomorrow with an 85. And yes, on Friday, we'll even be up to the 90s, but then it all changes as we get that little front over the weekend. Way down south, this is the Pacific Ocean. This is the remnants of what used to be Hurricane Lydia. Lydia, of course, slammed into the mountains of western Mexico and fell apart rapidly, but it's that moisture that she let go that is really passing over our area. And here's Future Tracker through the next 72 hours. You can see the remnants moving south of our area, following the jet stream. Looks like Florida and much of Alabama and Georgia are going to be getting heavy rain out of the remnants of those two systems. But for us, we start looking to the north. Yes, Faree, there is our next frontal system. It comes through Friday, probably around midnight. I don't believe we'll have a problem. It'll be rather humid with some clouds on Friday night. Saturday morning, big dry wind blows in and clears everything out. Perfect timing for the eclipse. All of the states in orange, yellow rather, are the states that'll get to see the eclipse. And of course, the band of green is where it passes and you see the totality of the eclipse, which happens to be going right over your house. So that's pretty neat that we're so perfectly situated for this eclipse. There's your morning high tide, your afternoon low tide, and the winds are going to return out of the southeast 5 to 10. Fairly quiet sunrise at 7:27, and you can see how sunset is now at 7 o'clock. Getting earlier and earlier. We get darker and darker. 67 in the morning, 85 tomorrow with cloud cover left over, but rain will be at a minimum tomorrow. It's just the cloud deck. 88 the high in Cuero, and there you see we'll be warm on Friday, getting up to 90. And the front comes through and clears us up very nicely for a gorgeous weekend coming up with low humidities and lots of sun. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that with your phone and put Crossroads Today right on your phone. Here's Karina.
Thank you, Mac. And now a big welcome to Sports Director Gina Perez.
Thanks, Karina. The Astros and Rangers could be meeting in the ALCS. We'll have that after the break. At Crossroads, the Texas Football Bible, also known as Dave Campbell's Texas Football, came out with a list of former Texas high school football players that are now in college and are bringing home a local award. Hallettsville's own Jonathan Brooks is being named the Mid-Season Offensive Player of the Year. The Longhorn running back has been a valuable part of the Texas offense and leads all running backs in the state of Texas with 726 yards and ranks third out of the 5 power conferences. The former Brahma will be back in the Crossroads this Friday since the Longhorns are on bye this week to see his number being retired during the halftime of the Hallettsville football game. Brooks wore number 25 in high school, but now represents the number 24. The Horns are coming off a 34-30 loss to the Oklahoma Sooners this past weekend, where Brooks had 126 yards rushing and 1 touchdown. The Houston Astros are only 1 game away from moving on to the ALCS, but they have to take care of business tonight. Last night, the Stros started off fast, scoring 4 runs in the first inning, which included a Kyle Tucker RBI single and a Jose Abreu bomb to left field. The Stros bullpen was also hot, with Christian Javier pitching 5 innings and only giving up 1 hit, 5 walks, and 9 strikeouts with 0 runs. also put away his former teammate Carlos Correa. To put the game one away in Yordan Alvarez, he just hits a bomb over the 360-foot wall where the Twins fans likely threw the ball back. Astros went on to win 9-1, and currently the two are playing right now with the score 1-0 with the Twins leading. The Texas Rangers, on the other hand, have already locked up a spot into the American League Championship Series. The Rangers swept the #1 seeded Baltimore Orioles with a 7-1 win last night. The Rangers have won all 5 of their playoff games and are heading to the ALCS for the first time since 2011. This was also the first playoff game at Globe Life Field since the stadium was used to host much of the MLB's playoff games during the 2020 season. If the Astros win tonight, it will be a Texas-sized battle for a trip to the World Series. My favorite Summer Olympic sports are swimming, track, but there may be some new ones in the near future. 5 new sports are being considered for the 2028 Summer Olympic Games, which will be played in Los Angeles. The LA 2028 Olympic and Paralympic Organizing Committee has proposed flag football, softball, baseball, lacrosse, squash, and cricket. Flag football and squash have never been a part of Olympic competition. Cricket has appeared at the Olympics once, previously in 1900 in Paris. Lacrosse appeared at the Olympics in 1904 in St. Louis, Missouri, and in 1908 in London. Baseball was introduced as a medal event at the 1992 Olympics in Barcelona, with softball being added in 1996 in Atlanta. The International Olympic Committee's executive board will resume the sports in Mumbai, India on October 16th. Well, that's your sports. Donna and Karina, back to you.
Thanks, Gina. We're back in a moment. 3 luxury mushrooms sold over $6,000 in the season's first auction in Western Japan.
Finally tonight, 3 luxury mushrooms sold for nearly $6,200 in the season's first auction in Western Japan. Let me repeat that. 3 mushrooms were sold for nearly $6,000 in Japan.
Wow.
The auction came about 2 weeks later than usual years due to this summer's extreme heat and lack of rain. Those who attended the auction said the much worried quality of the fungus, yes, fungus, $6,000 worth of fungus seemed promising. The traditional Japanese inn that made the winning bid said the mushroom was fresh and rich of aroma and looked delicious. And it was worth $6,000.
And then you just eat it, and then you just ate $62,000.
Then you put Italian dressing on it and stir it around on your pizza.
And there goes the Italian dressing. You know, Mac, you were mentioning earlier about the big event Saturday, the eclipse. There's another big event coming up Saturday.
Oh,
I'll give you a hint. Cuero.
Gobble, gobble.
Gobble, gobble.
Turkey
Day.
Fest. Yes, yes.
That's going to be good. It's going to be interesting. Tomorrow, I'm going to have a contraption here that is a box made out of cardboard that's going to help you view the equator without endangering your eyesight.
Oh,
because
that's neat.
it's going to be an interesting moment when the sun is darkened. It's going to be a very weird feeling for people out at the Turkey Day there. Well, looking at the skies to be clearing tomorrow, just a slight of a chance of a drizzle in the morning. Otherwise, fog is possible early, but it'll be warm in the afternoon, and it'll also be warm on Friday, which is going to turn out very nice. Even better weather, though, is Saturday when a cool north wind blows in, gives us some low humidities, and excellent running position for Ruby Begonia. Just
Take the race home.
take the race home.
Alrighty.
There you go, Mag. And thanks for joining us.
We hope to see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 10.